Why some people don't like studying. A pencil rolls across a wooden desk. It falls. No one picks it up. A textbook remains open to the same page it was open to 23 minutes ago. The words have not moved. The room has not changed. Outside the window, a bird lands on a fence, studies the ground for less than a second, and dives without hesitation. Inside the room, a human brain is doing something far more complicated. It is deciding whether a single page is worth the emotional cost of turning. Most people believe this moment is simple. A student does not study because they are lazy. That explanation is comforting. It requires no investigation, but comfort has a habit of hiding reality. Because if laziness were the answer, the mystery would end here. Instead, this is where it begins. Long before there were classrooms, exams, or report cards, the human brain evolved to solve a different problem entirely. Survival. Every decision carried a question that rarely reached consciousness. Will this keep me alive? Food answered yes. Shelter answered yes. Belonging answered yes. Pain demanded avoidance. The remarkable thing is that millions of years later, the brain still asks the same question. Only now it asks it in places where survival is no longer the obvious concern. A classroom, a library, a quiet bedroom with an unfinished assignment. The environment has changed. The machinery has not. Children reveal this more clearly than anyone else. Watch a 4-year-old for an afternoon. They dismantle toys simply to discover what is hidden inside. They ask impossible questions. Why is water wet? Why do stars disappear? Why can't birds talk? Question after question, as though curiosity itself were breathing through them. No one teaches a child to become curious. Curiosity arrives first. Education comes later. Somewhere between those two moments, something often changes. Not for everyone, but for enough people that the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. Researchers studying motivation have repeatedly noticed an uncomfortable truth. Human beings learn remarkably well when they experience autonomy, competence, and meaningful purpose. Remove those conditions and learning itself begins to feel different. The information has not changed. The emotional landscape has. Imagine two children learning to ride a bicycle. The first falls, laughs, stands, and tries again. The second falls while a crowd watches. Someone laughs. Someone compares. Someone says, "Your brother learned faster." The bruise heals. The memory does not. The brain is astonishingly efficient. It connects experiences with emotion, not because it wants happiness, because it wants prediction. If enough painful moments gather around a particular activity, the activity itself begins to inherit the emotion. Not consciously, automatically. Most people assume they dislike studying because books are boring. But books rarely create the feeling. Association does. The page becomes linked to anxiety. The desk becomes linked to judgment. The examination hall becomes linked to humiliation. Eventually, the body reacts before the mind has time to explain why. This is not weakness. It is pattern recognition. The same ability that once protected our ancestors from danger now protects modern minds from emotional discomfort. Protection, however, has a flaw. It does not distinguish between genuine threats and remembered ones. To the nervous system, social rejection can resemble physical danger more closely than we once imagined. Embarrassment carried consequences. Perhaps that is why criticism during learning can echo so loudly. The danger is no longer the classroom. The danger becomes what the classroom represents. Failure, comparison, exposure. Researchers still debate exactly how these processes interact. But one observation appears again and again. Emotion shapes attention. Attention shapes memory. Memory shapes future behavior. A student who repeatedly studies while afraid may not simply remember the material. They may remember the fear more vividly than the lesson.